Welcome back on the AM show. Peace, security, leadership, training. Well, they go hand in hand, and that's why you have the GTC partnering the African Union's Department of Political Affairs, Peace and Security for this upcoming special training on leadership. And that's why we also have Prof in the studio joining us, Professor Charles Amwate. He is Director, GIMPA Training and Consulting. He joins us for a conversation on this. Prof, good morning.
Thank you.
Good to have you. It's interesting. Just yesterday I was at GIMPA.
Wonderful.
At your moot court facility.
Great.
The only problem...
you like our beautiful Green Hill campus.
Oh, it is refreshing. It is nice. It's been a while since I got there. As a Legonite, when you go to other campuses, you see that you guys are doing well.
Wonderful.
You are doing well. My only issue at the event, where they're having a lot of fun, it was at George Efrie's
lecture, right.
And then the lights decided to.
Oh, you see,
anyway,
so that's a national challenge.
We were hot and all of that. But beyond that, fantastic. Right. But tell us more about the partnership between GIMPA, your GTC,
right,
and the African Union's Department of Political Affairs, among others.
Right.
How did this even come about?
Right. Now, thank you very much for having me on your show, and good morning to all your listeners and viewers. Well, GIMPA is roughly 60 years old, and our mandate has been developing capacity of leadership on the continent. Over the past few years, we've decided to really expand our reach to look at how we can support various international organizations in building stronger leadership capacity on the continent. And so last year, the African Union undertook a capacity needs assessment. I mean, you're aware of the challenges we're having on the continent with relation to peace and security, and having an AU that is strong, that is able to address these challenges. And so we identify critical gap as leadership, because like somebody said, leadership is a cause, everything else is effect. And and the African Union got in touch with GIMPA, knowing what we have been doing on the continent in terms of leadership capacity, to really take a look at the capacity gaps they have and develop a tailor-made program to really bridge that gap. And so we have developed actually a series of training programs addressing issues on leadership, strategic planning and strategic thinking, project management, and monitoring and evaluation. And next week we are rolling out the course on leadership.
I see, interesting. Yeah. But in terms of strategic leadership, why is it crucial to the peace and security landscape on the continent?
Right, thank you very much. As you are aware, in particular the Department for Political Affairs, Peace and Security is actually carrying about 80% of the work that the AU does. And so any transformation that happens in that department significantly affects and impacts on the mandate of AU, in the bigger picture. Now, most of the staff of the department are experts in various fields like governance, political affairs, peace and security, and their primary responsibility has been to formulate policies to support issues around how to promote peace and security on the continent. What we have observed is that sometimes there is a significant gap in terms of the leadership that is required to really get things done and making sure that the policies are having impact on the continent. And so even though they are subject level experts, they lack the capacity to manage the various units. For example, we have the elections unit, mediation unit, we have various departments, directorates within the department, and all of them now need to develop management, administration, and leadership skills to be able to go beyond their subject expertise and manage the institution in a way as to deliver results.
And come November the 9th and 10th, you'll be setting sail, you'll be heading to Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. What exactly is going to be happening there?
Right, so we'll be launching the course, and we're going to start with the module on leadership. We're going to have the commissioner who will be opening the forum, but we have identified 20 key leaders within this department, and they are going to go through the course Once we are done with that, this will be rolled out to the whole department and possibly the whole of the African Union. And not just the African Union, but our expectation is that these same calls will be rolled out for institutions like ECOWAS Commission, SADC, the East African Community, and all the RECs will also benefit from this training program.
All right, so you've already mentioned those who will benefit, but could you elaborate a bit on what specific skills, knowledge skills, they will be acquiring when it comes to the peace and security landscape of the continent? What exactly? Give us some deeper breadth of what is to come.
Yeah, thank you very much. So our expectations at the end of this 2-day course, negotiation skills, because one of the major mandates is really how to negotiate among parties, making sure that we address the different interest groups. How do we engage at a strategic level with development partners and different interest groups who are coming and working with us on the continent? Issues around strategic thinking. How do we plan in the long term for the next 50 years for African Union? Where are we going to be? So these are issues we want to challenge our current leaders managing the African Union, that we need to think, we need to be forward-looking, and we have to develop the skills and the competences required to meet the emerging demands for the African Union.
What is the theme, basically?
Yes, the theme is Leadership Unleashed. And
Leadership Unleashed. Okay.
Yes. And we are saying that our critical challenge as a continent has been with leadership.
You've got that right.
Yes.
You've got that right.
Yes. And this is, in fact, we believe that if you can address the leadership challenge, everything else will fall in place. And we are also aware that we have been doing things in a certain way for the past 50 years in the Union. If we keep doing things the same way, we get the same results.
Exactly.
And so we
I think
believe,
it's Henry Ford who said that.
Henry Ford said that, And so the only way to get different results is to do things differently.
Yep.
And so we hope that with this exposure, and we have actually the experts in the field, professors who are not just academics, but also practitioners. They will all be flying to Addis Ababa and going to go through this training. It's going to be hands-on and very participatory, engaging. We're going to share case studies, and we hope that at the end of the 2 days, we're going to be able to reorient the leadership of AU into strategic thinking that can have development impact on the continent.
At the end of all this, what do you hope to achieve with this collaboration, working hand in glove with the African Union to do this? And what are you looking forward to the impact of empowered strategic thinking leaders on the continent? What are you hoping will be the palpable impact? Because if you say impact, then there's nothing to show.
Sure.
So what are you thinking in those along those lines?
Now, thank you very much. African Union has been existing for quite a long time, but we have realized that peace and security, the situation is getting worse over the years. So the question is, our activities and the programs and the policies, the directives and the protocols, are they really making a difference? And citizens of the Union are also asking questions. What is the relevance of the African Union? And we believe that this training will lead to a rethinking about the mandates of the African Union and the kind of leadership that is required today to lead African Union in a new direction that will have impact on the citizens. And so we are very hopeful, and I think one of the things we'll be emphasizing is the change of mindset, change of attitude, and believe in the African that we can do it. And so that is the kind of thing we want to push into the leadership of the African Union. We can do it. Let's take ownership of our development process. Let's invest in our people. And we hope that this training is going to become a scheme of service within the African Union, so that anybody who enters into the African Union and the other regional economic groups will have to go through this training, so that the culture of leadership and strategic thinking is actually inculcated in every staff of the Union.
Interesting. Before we wrap up, in the end, you are having these collaborations coming to bear. Are you thinking of future collaborations along those lines? And for this event, for this training and all of that, who can participate? Individuals, organizations? Can you break it down for us?
Sure.
Who can and who can't?
So this particular training program is actually now tailored for the African Union and its leadership. So we're looking at directors, very restricted at this stage. But we hope to replicate this in the entire continent. So from the African Union, we are coming to the regional economic groups, ECOWAS Commission, SADC, East African, the community, and we're also going to be engaging with member states. So as I'm talking to you, GTC is heavily involved even in Somalia. We send our professors to Somalia. We are helping build their public service, training parliamentarians, and so on. We hope to translate this into the member states as well. So that is a vision we have as GTC. So we're not just a Ghanaian brand now, we are a continent-wide brand.
And we're proud of you for the feats you're
much.
attaining, because this is a crucial aspect. If you've listened over time to Professor PLO Lumumba, among others, it will just give you a picture of where we are as a continent and how much more we have to do just to catch up, not even to overtake. Catch up.
True.
We have a long way
Very
to go.
good.
Any final words, Prof, as we wrap? Any final words?
Right. So, I would just want to let our partners all over, development partners who would like to engage with GIMPA, this is something that we believe is very critical. I know development partners are always concerned about, the millions of dollars, billions that are pumped into development work with very little results that can be reported. We believe that leadership is so critical, and as GIMPA as an institution, we want to focus on building the capacity of leadership. And we want to be partnering with, the World Bank, the African Union. We've started with the regional economic groups. We also want to get them on board so that together we'll be able to not just develop the current leadership, but also a new crop of leadership who will be manning the various agencies, either at the national level, the regional level, or even the sub-regional levels.
Prof. Munir Jumayo,
Thank
we're
you.
grateful for your time. And that's all time will allow us on this beat. The one who joined us, Professor Charles Amwate, Director, GIMPA Training and Consulting. And this is what their collaboration is as far as the African Union is concerned. Stay with us. There's still more to come as far as cities and habitats, or at least the Habitat Fair is concerned. We'll bring you more right after the break.